Welcome to the Holly Area Community Show. I'm your host Jody, brought to you by Reach in Holly, Minnesota, and I'm here today with a gentleman by the name of Lefty Johnson, whom a lot of people around Holly know, but some of you may not. And so first of all, welcome to the show, Lefty. And we're just going to talk today about Holly and the making of Holly back in a time when I wasn't even around. So first of all, Lefty, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been a resident of Holly all my life except the military time. So I've seen Holly develop from what it was back in the 30s into what it is today. During the time when the veterans returned from World War II, we had a group of people that were ready for volunteer work, and things around Holly that developed from this volunteer effort are such things as the golf course, the rodeos, the softball complexes, a very good school system, and all these things developed to keep the Holly together.
And all those things are still going on today. We still have the Holly Rodeo, the softball, and you, I know, were an integral part of all of those things. So should we first talk a little bit about the rodeo and how that was established?
Well, yes, we can do that, because the rodeo started with a meeting of the Chamber of Commerce in the wintertime back in about 1959. And we had a council meeting and a meeting of the Chamber of Commerce of the city. We agreed that we were going to try a rodeo, and so we brought in a rodeo producer by the name of Bob Barnes, and he agreed to come in and put on a 2-day rodeo for a very minimum amount of money. It was less than $3,000.
Do you remember the turnout that year?
And yes, first we had to make grounds to have a rodeo, and we had an old gravel pit on the east edge of Holly that was in need of a workover, and we got some volunteer help from the county and from Saline Brothers and other interested parties. We took that gravel pit and leveled it out and moved the dirt around until we at least had the makeup of rodeo grounds. The first rodeo we had was a success, and the Fargo Forum run a picture of about 50 horses running down Main Street, and that picture sold the rodeo because everybody in Fargo Moorhead were going to come to the rodeo. And we had a rodeo where the gate for the rodeo in 2 days was over $20,000. It gave us a good handle on what can happen with the rodeo. And the rodeo has, from that, it's built up, and now it's in the hands of the Golden Riders and other interested people in the community. They help keep this thing on. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the softball complex is concerned, this has been a place where I have spent some time. When we started the softball complex, we had to put water on, and I volunteered to put water on the ground so that we could grow some grass.
Now you're talking about the softball complex in town, correct?
I'm talking about the softball complex that's on the south side of the highway in town.
In town, yeah.
That complex has been built with the help of the school and the city, and has been very successful. I don't think there's any place in the county that has a comparable field that we've got here with that softball complex. So these things are things that the volunteers have built, the golf course and the rodeo and the softball complex, All of these have taken a lot of volunteer effort, and it shows today, and all those things are continuing. Now, as far as what's going to happen in the future, I'm 91 years old. I'm not in position to really say what's going to happen, but I can say I can comment on what has happened. And when I look at the transportation system, the 4-lane road between here and Fargo-Moorhead, and we have a lot of people living in Holly that are here because of that highway. Their jobs are in Fargo-Moorhead, and they need transportation to get there. The school system has been a bright spot. We've had a very good school setup, and it shows people are moving into the Holly area because of the good school system. And I think that's going to continue to some extent, but the price of gasoline is maybe slowing it down at the present time. As far as the business street is concerned, we've got a very minimum amount of services today. We've got 1 or 2 restaurants that can serve the public. We got a drugstore that serves the public. We've got Tony's grocery line doing a good job and able to serve the public, but we do need a little more. But to get more, we also need a population base to support it.
Okay, so we're going to take a little break, come back and maybe talk a little bit more about the future of Holly. It's been interesting talking about those people that made Holly what it is, so we'll be right back. And we're back with Lefty Johnson in his home here in Holly, and we've just been talking about those volunteers back in the 50s and 60s that really established what Holly is today. The one thing we didn't talk about was the golf course. Were you a part of that?
Well, yes, I've been a member of the golf course. In fact, I got a lifetime membership to the golf course donated to me by the golf course. Back in the early 60s, we had a 9-hole golf course that had a need to expand because we were getting the play. A lot of people from Fargo-Moorhead that played golf were coming down to our course. So in the 60s and early 70s, we got permission from the Clay County to use what at that time was called the Poor Farm, to develop the Poor Farm as part of the golf course. And so we hired an architect, and the architect come down, that he had a knowledge of what needed to be done to build that golf course. And we took his advice, and we started on a construction of another 9 holes at the golf course. We used a lot of volunteer help. Every Wednesday night was work night. Instead of playing golf, we come down with our gloves and shovels and whatever necessary to build the golf course. And in the space of about 10 years, we developed that course. We planted a lot of trees, and we made a lot of greens, and we put water to water the fairways and the greens, all in the space of about 10 years. And now the result of that volunteer effort shows in a golf course that is one of the finest golf courses in the west end of Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I'm justly proud of having been part of that, because there was a lot of days and a lot of effort put in by friends of mine, and I put in a lot of time myself to build that course, and we're justly proud of it.
I'm very proud of the golf course too, even though I'm not a golfer, but I know it is one of the beautiful centerpieces of Holly. And in wrapping up here, I just want to say thank you to you for all those countless hours during those countless years, and all the other volunteers that have made Holly what it is today. And so thank you, on behalf of the people who live and enjoy Holly now. So hopefully we can talk again sometime, Lefty.
Yeah.
Until next time.